And what we're going to do is use Soypod as an example. This is in its beta version, so it's not perfect. At the same time, I'm not getting any money to do this. I just really find the value in taking something that we have generated, which is called speed scouting. No, it's not driving 50 mile an hour past a field and saying, treat, right? I know. Yeah, cool. Oh, hey, call the guy. Yeah, treat. But it's using a binomial sequential sampling plan. So binomial meaning presence, absence. Sequential meaning plants in a row. Not in a row, but maybe sequentially, right? Sequentially. And a sampling plan. It's a way to sample for that pest. But as you'll see, this paper version I think can be kind of complicated, especially when you throw in, okay, I have 50 to 100 fields that I'm managing. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how to create an account, enter field information, how to speed scout, what speed scouting is, and how to make informed decisions. So I have my.soypod.info, and I'm working on getting these two together. Soypod.info just brings you to the mobile version, so you can bypass the my part. But if you want to know more about it, just go to my.soypod.info. And that just gives you some general information about why it's needed, the basics, the features, some frequently asked questions, and then if any newsroom, any news items need to be talked about, site is down for maintenance, whatever, that will be posted here. But I'm working on getting those two sites actually combined as one. So you just go to one address, and depending on what device you're on, it just pulls up the right, essentially formatting. But right now, if you go to soypod.info, which you can get clicking on the phone, it just brings you to a weird looking page, right? Why is everything over on this side? Well, it's formatted for your phone. So just imagine that's all black screen, right? It's formatted for your phone. So as you pull it up, that's what you see. You want to create an account, you just registered. So you're creating a user using email, password, first name, last name, and agree to terms and conditions. So pretty straightforward. I'm not asking for social security number or any of that garbage, right? Terms and conditions just means that I'm not going to sell your information to Google, and they can sell their information to anybody they want to. So this fall, we're actually developing an app that communicates with us. So this houses a database that people contribute information to. If we just created an app that just stood alone on your phone, it's no different than me handing you a speed scouting form. I still don't have access to that information. It's hard for me to then tell you anything more about it because that's all your information. So if you're willing to share it within the context of this network, I felt this was the best place to start. Plus, I wanted to see how much buy-in I had before developing a phone-specific app that nobody used. This was a lot cheaper for me since this came out of my lab pocket. So I wanted to see, how does this work? What would it look like? And that's what Soypod Beta is. So you can imagine here, so all the apps that you mentioned before, maybe this becomes your favorite apps that deal with soybean production. So it's not just aphids. This could be anything soybean related that you want to. I go to soypod.info, I log in, and it comes up a list of all my apps that I currently use to manage. So eventually someday we'll hopefully have thousands of things to choose from, but you're going to know which ones you want to use. So if you want to manage soybean, you want to go to that one place and manage soybean. And maybe it just lists all these different apps that you want to do. I want a tank mix. This is what I'm doing today. I'm purchasing seed. I want to be able to scan this plot and get what the genetics are for it. Whatever. But that's the idea, is have those apps stored here. But for right now, this is what you get. So you have fields, my fields. And it's just a list of fields that you created by selecting Add Field. And it gives you field name. You can throw in size, zip code. Lat and long, that will be populated in the app version, so it will actually pull the GPS from the phone. So what we're trying to do is streamline this as much as possible. But why would some of this information matter? You only have to enter it one time. So it won't take you a lot of time. Maybe you don't want to do this in the field, but maybe you can set a reminder to that when you're home to tell me to update all my field information. But for right now, I just want to enter it in the field and be as fast as possible. Well, maybe I had a row in here that said variety, a field called variety. And maybe I gave you, maybe you put in there a host plant resistant variety. So something that's resistant to soybean aphid. So why would something like that matter? I'll tell you why. If you have a lot of aphids on a host plant resistant variety, or resistant variety, that means a lot to me. That means I might go, hey, do you mind if I sit down and talk with you? Do you mind if we meet at this field? This could be a new biotype that's overcoming this resistance. I want to know how prevalent it is. Do you mind if I come sample your fields? Do I get that from a sheet of paper that I gave you? From that brochure? No, absolutely not. This would, if you're willing to share that. If you're willing to connect with the right people. Right? You don't want to tell your competitors any of this information, right? You want to share everything. But maybe there's certain things you do want to share. But at the same time, maybe you want to share everything with me. Because my best interests are you. I don't see anything from making one decision or another. I just want to make sure you're making the best decision. So to me, the gold is the data. That's the value. Is that I can run that data through the models that I have. Well, they can also help me find new sources of resistant aphid populations so that we can then build new resistant lines in the future. So again, see the flow of information just by changing that a little bit from this trickle down to all-inclusive at the field level changes the game. So let's move forward a little bit more and go back to my fields. So this RSI tells us when we need to resample. So this is our resampling interval. The last decision, and we can sort by any of these, and it's been a long time since I've been into guest 7, right? So these are all 0. But as we go into one of these, and let's just use field 2, it asks me for actions, and it says, what do you want to do? Well, the only thing we can do now is scout field 2. And right now we can only scout for soybean aphid, but you can imagine this could be other pests. And I'm going to tell it it's 9, V9, R3, and I want to speed scout. So this is speed scouting. So this is a form that Erin Hodson from when she was at University of Minnesota, she's at Iowa State University now. She has a really nice screencast at Plant Management Network about this topic of speed scouting. But this is a speed scouting form. So instead of counting every single aphid on a plant, which I know all of you are just dying to do if we had aphids out there today, another option is to use that binomial sequential sampling plan, so speed scouting. So there's a mathematical relationship between the tally threshold, which in this case is 40. So you stop at 40. Once you reach 40, the whole plant is infested. And the number of plants that are like that has a mathematical relationship to 250, which is the treatment threshold. So again, this is not, I repeat, this is not a new treatment threshold, the tally of 40. But there's a mathematical relationship to the actual 250 per plant. But what it does is, so once you know that rule, the plant has to be a yes or no. Is it more than 40, yes or no? You start adding the plants that you're sampling, so you stop. Yes, no, write it down, walk. Stop, write it down, walk. And then once you get to your first 11, put that number in the box. Are you at 6 or less, 7 to 10, 11 or more? If you're at 6 or less, you're done. If you're 11 or more, you're done. This means you don't treat and you come back in 7 to 10 days. So now you got to remember when to come back and sample. And this is treat, so come back in 3 or 4 days to confirm, to make sure the population is actually increasing. So do you get the same decision 2 times in a row? Or if you get in the middle one, you just keep sampling. So it's uncertain whether or not you can make a decision. So keep sampling until you can be here or here. So now you got that for all 50 of your fields, and then you're going to sort all those by when you need to revisit those next, and by the decisions that were made. And then when it comes time to actually making a list of fields that need to be treated, you can easily take all those sheets of paper and put them in order and send that to whoever, right? Send it to somebody who cares. So let's take that same idea, humor me, and let's go back to Soypod. So we're going to do speed scouting here. That's it. Yes or no? That's the only thing you have to answer from here on out. Does everybody know, does everybody feel comfortable with what I mean by yes or no? Oh, yes or no. It's after lunch for me too, and this is the 4th time I've said this talk, so please forgive me if I make no sense. So let's do a quick little, let's train our aphid eye quick. So let's just assume this little piece of leaf is the entire plant, right? Because the tally threshold is based on the entire plant, not just a leaflet. I'm just showing you a leaflet because it's easy to see the aphids. So remember, the tally threshold is 40 or more. So is this infested, yes or no? No. Hey. Yes or no? No? Hey, get close. Yes or no? And no brainer, right? Look at a plant. You already know what about 50 look or about 40 looks like, right? That's all. That's the only information that you need to know. All that other math, adding up, keep sampling, no sampling, all you have to do. Yes or no. So we're going to say, no, we walk. Especially while it's downloading the next page, right? Because we got 1x where we're at. No, no. Oh, that one had aphids on it. No, no, no. Kind of what you're seeing around here right now. A bunch of no's. That's it. Just keep clicking yes or no until it tells me to do something. That's it. So that big sheet of paper with all the different boxes, adding plus and minus, you're doing it differently. You're doing the same thing. All you're doing is saying yes or no, but you're allowing the program, all that stuff in the background to go, what's next? Do I treat or not? Remember the stack of biological information that's over here? Okay. I can back calculate what the population density is roughly. And I can tell you what over the next week that's going to happen because you gave me a density. And you told me where the position of that field is. Now we could have, this doesn't, not in the current version, but again, I want you to see, pulls information from weather.gov. You told me what the plant stage was. So now I can put all those things into my model that you don't have to see. The only thing that you'd have to see, and hopefully this works because I've been using these so much, they've been kind of acting funny. Again, beta version. What happened? These are all zeros before, right? Resampling interval says 7, right? The sheet said come back in 7 to 10 days. Well, we err on the side of conservative. Come back in 7 days, because a lot can happen in 10 days, but come back and resample that field in 7. You don't have to keep track of any of the paper. It's all within the phone. So you can, it also changed the last decision. So now it's no action required. Go by resampling, last decision. So say these were treatable. You want to tell them what fields to go spray first. Go do these while I go resample these. Right? You can start to triage what fields need to be done first. Scheduling wise, based on the reports that you're getting from speed scouting. So accountability in what you're doing. Without paper hassle, without carrying all those pieces of paper around. Going, what was the last decision? It's all contained right there. Just very, very basic, straightforward. A simple sheet transformed into the web.